Glow, Season 2. 3, 2, 1. See it!
I knew you were going to have the same.
Like it'd be anything else. So, Glow Season 2. It's a continuation of the first season, which we both highly recommend. And it's just as good, if not better, than Season 1, which was one of my favorite shows from last year. There was a couple of shows, but Glow was one of the ones that stood out for me. I think one of the reasons I liked it so much was because it's a really quick watch.
No, that's actually what I wrote down as a part of seeing it, is the fact that they are short shows, and you can pretty much watch them in a night or in 2 nights like we did.
So, let's start with the things that we liked about Season 2. I'll start. Probably one of my favorite things about this season that a lot of shows I don't think in this genre really do too well, because there's like a time jump from Season 1 to Season 2. Usually it's like the next year. Sort of a Glow Season 2 picks up right where Season 1 left off. It's like Season 1, they air the show at the end. Season 2 picks up, the show's aired, now it's been picked up. And now they've hit the ground running. They need to make an entire season. And it never lets up from the first episode to the last episode.
Mm-hmm. I really like the way that the characters grew in the second season. All the characters, the ones that weren't really that good of acting in the first season, ended up becoming really well on the show. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's one of the things I like. That's something to touch on.
That like all of the characters in the show came together as a family, and they kind of picked up the whole show ended up revolving around how they were a family and they were all really good friends, and that's what made their show really special, is because that they were able to pick up ideas from each other.
Yeah. One of the things I liked about this season is that the drama remained authentic and real, whereas the first season felt also very dramatic and it felt very real. I didn't feel like things were just made up just for the sake of creating drama. I felt like a lot of drama felt natural from the characters.
Yeah.
And like with your point, a lot of the characters that last season might not have had as much to do or grow with, everyone I felt was fully realized. For example, Mark Maron's character with his daughter, the first season, it was nice. Didn't really know where that could go, but I felt like where they took that with Mark Maron's character and his daughter's character, she's not in the show anymore, but she's still a character that it plays throughout the whole season, and she has her own storyline, she has her own arc, she has her own relationship problems that she's dealing with, and they felt very authentic to what the characters are going through within the show. And it's one of the things I really liked about this. I like that they just didn't drop the characters just because they didn't conveniently fit in with the Glow show that they were producing. Whereas like a lot of shows, you think of like Friends. Ross had how many kids did Ross have in Friends? Was it just the one? Because at some point they just dropped like that whole side of Ross's story.
He ended up having 2 kids, and then the mom took their kid to across country or something.
And like that storyline just like disappears. That kid never comes back. They're just exorcised. Whereas with Glow, they could have easily just said, hey, yeah, she moved back to Canada or whatever. They had their fallout and she's gone. But they actually stuck it out with the daughter. Yeah, they actually stuck it out with the daughter, gave her a fully realized story within the 10-episode arc that we're given with Season 2. And by the end of Season 2, she's a fully realized character. You could continue following her, but one of the things I really liked about Season 2 was the way they tied all the storylines up that carried over from Season 2 from Season 1.
I was really impressed with the fact that each show is so short and they're able to pack so much into each episode from each character. There's so many characters in that show.
Yeah, there's
so many characters, and every single person in the show you felt you had a relationship with. Every single character, even the smaller roles.
Yeah,
you understood their story and where they came from. The girl who plays the terrorist, she goes through some of her own experiences, and you were able to feel that she was going through these experiments with her.
Yeah, Season 1 touched on some feminist movements with the. They did a really quick, and some people I talked about Season 1 with that watched it said they were really turned off about some aspects of Season 1, some of the feminist movement, such as like the pro-choice abortion moment in Season 1.
It's been so long since the first season. I hardly remember that.
They felt like they were kind of being pandered to with like abortion is good and everyone should just accept it, and rubbed some people the wrong way. Whereas in this one, there was another Me Too moment that they addressed. This one goes more to the Me Too moment, whereas the first one was like the woman's choice in the first season. But the Me Too moment's like the executive that comes on to Ruth.
Oh, I think that was well played.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Was done
it was
perfectly.
It was more tastefully done, and it wasn't like they were pandering to us about like it wasn't like there was a bias behind it.
I think that it was there, and you saw it. You were able to feel something for her, and express what she went through as far as leaving.
Yeah.
That her scenario and leaving the room, and you were like, good for you, and then that was the end of it.
And that I like how they flipped it on its head. It was actually like when Ruth made her decision with that moment with that Harvey Weinstein like character, it was actually like one of the women that was mad at her, and it was Mark Maron was the one that was happy with her.
I also think of it as the times, so I think she was mad at her. If you think about it in the 80s at that time.
I know. It was natural. It didn't feel...
I think it was... Right. Yeah, that's a hard topic to talk about.
But it felt natural within the show. It didn't feel tacked on. It wasn't random.
Right. I agree.
One of the other things I really liked about the show, their choice of music selection is spot on. Again, I thought the music in the first season was really good. Real quick, just some things that we didn't like. There's only really one thing about this season that
I didn't write anything down for dislike.
There's just one episode that I felt like was overplayed. And it's the episode where we actually watch an episode of Glow play. So it's like episode 8, we actually watch an episode of Glow. Not Glow, the show that's on Netflix, but Glow.
I thought you liked that.
It was cool, but for like a full 30-minute episode, I think you probably could have compacted 5 to 10 minutes and maybe just play like the end of it and then actually go back to the regular show.
I actually really enjoyed that show. I do agree, though. I don't think it needed to be the whole episode.
Or it could have been shorter. I mean, it could have been 20 minutes, but it's like a full 30-minute episode.
It reminds me of TV shows that drag on for really long seasons and they run out of things, so they start doing playbacks of old episodes. It felt like they just kind of ran out of things to say and just put that in an episode.
Yeah, it was cool to see it play out. It was nice to see what was actually being produced for the television, for their Saturday audience. But I felt by the end of it, I felt like it was getting a little gimmicky, especially with the whole point of what that episode was at the end. You had like the daughter in there, and then the mom was like, holy shit, it's like that whole episode was meant for her mom to figure out where she was, that she was in California.
Yeah. And that could have been done quicker.
So I was happy where they ended it in a manner where, like, if they didn't produce another season, I'd be okay with them not producing another season. But of course they're going to produce another season. It's a popular show.
It ended in an area where you could feel like the show has ended. Mm-hmm. But it also is like, okay, this is a very interesting turn of events. So I don't think Ruth and Debbie, I think their drama has closed. But I think what's going to start opening up is the other characters' drama. The terrorist finding out that she's actually into women. The last scene where... what is her name? I don't want to just refer to her as the terrorist.
I can't remember what the
That's her role in Glow. Like her fighting character is the terrorist. So I'm not like calling her a terrorist. And then you have, which is very difficult for her culture. So you can see that she's kind of wrapping her head around this. I think Ruth is going to start being like a director, like a co-director, and Debbie's going to still be like the producer kind of thing.
Yeah, I did like how they made Ruth like a co-director, and they started leaning on her more creatively in this season, and how that, like, even like the drama between her and Mark Maron naturally flowed through her creative outlet within the show.
Yeah,
I thought it was really nice. So final thoughts for Glow. We've hit our 10 minutes.
I think it's going to be interesting to see where season 3 goes, and if there's not a season 3, I could be happy where it ends. But I think
I agree. There's going to be a season 3. I mean, of course, there's going to be. I agree. This is a fantastic show. This was a
Great.
great season 2. There was no sophomore slump for Glow. Season 2 just as strong, if not better, than season 1. Look forward to seeing where they go with it. So thanks for tuning in. We have 2 more shows to do today. Stay tuned. Check those out. Thanks for watching.